Hello everyone, I'm Lord Tony, and welcome back to hacking the crap out of Megaman Battle Network 3 Blue. Today, we are going to be taking a mile-high view of ROM hacking, and we're going to come up with the Hello World equivalent of a hack for this lovely game right here. But first, I want to show you something that I thought was really interesting. In my digging around with the press program from last episode, I ended up finding two more RAM addresses for the scaling. So it turns out when he steps on a bridge, this RAM address gets set to C0, and that makes him small. Most of the time he's working at 40, hex 40. And if we change it to hex 20, these two locations right here, we end up getting a huge Megaman. So let's just do that. I'm going to go back into the memory viewer, and hopefully that'll just let me copy paste into this inspect address. No, there we go, yeah, so here, this 4040, if we change it to C0C0, we get Little Mega Man, and more hilarious, if we change it to 2020, we get Big Mega Man. This is quite amusing, and I would like to play the whole game like this. I would like to point out that this doesn't work with LAN. It only works on Mega Man, so when you go to the overworld or outside of the internet world, when you're jacked out, you're not bigger, and when you're in battle, you're not bigger. I tried looking for scaling factors there, but I couldn't find anything, so hate to disappoint you, but here's a picture of Big Mega Man. He's probably the thumbnail. So, the meat of this episode today is going to be ROM hacking. We're actually going to create a ROM hack for Mega Man Battle Network. We're going to need a few tools here. The first tool is this program called Ghidra. Now, Ghidra is a reverse engineering program, and it basically, the coolest feature of Ghidra, if you ask me, is that you can take a compiled binary, and Ghidra tries to not only does it show you the machine code, it also gives you an approximation of what the C code might look like. So here we are in a function, and here's the binary of Mega Man Battle Network 3 with the ARM thumb instruction set. Here's the instructions over there, there's the machine code, there's the address that it falls under, and here's what it might look like in C. Personally, I can't read any of this crap, but it does make it a lot easier than just trying to step through the emulator and debug it. You don't have to know what you're doing. You just have to be like me and be willing to throw, dozens of hours into solving trivial problems. Yeah, you don't need no 3-digit IQ. You can solve this. You just keep on trying. I guarantee if you throw 100 hours at this, you'll figure it out. But yeah, so there's Ghidra. The other thing is Ghidra can't really read Game Boy out of the box, so I just went to DuckDuckGo, or, Ask Jeeves, Lycos, and I searched for Game Boy Advance Ghidra plugin, and I came up with this guy from Sideway 3. Now, you either need to figure out how to compile it yourself from these vague instructions, which I didn't. I tried, but I didn't figure it out. Or you can just download the zip file of a pre-built version and make sure your version of Ghidra matches up with that version. So I didn't have this version of Ghidra, so I downloaded a new version of Ghidra to be able to install this plugin. And then I was able to, take my Game Boy Advance ROM and open it up in Ghidra. And here we are looking at the place in code that gets fired when you run into a bridge. I found this using the same reverse engineering techniques we used in the last video, and I named some of these functions here. Like, this was given originally, the names of all the functions in Ghidra are going to be fun underscore, and then just the name of the memory address that actually corresponds to them. But you can rename them and, make the code more readable for yourself, and that's kind of what I did. So this function right here, called in two places, it checks to see if you have a Navi customization program equipped. And it turns out the press program is hex 28. And I could never once get this line of code to fire, no matter how many bridges I jumped on. So there's clearly something I'm missing there. But this code, this fires every time you jump onto a bridge. So what it's doing is if we hop over here to the ARM thumb assembly code, they branch like BL, I guess that's branch and link, to that function right there, and then that function puts a value into R0 and returns it. It puts 0 in there if you don't have Navi, the Navi Cust program equipped, and it puts a 1 in there if you do. So basically, this code right here is the you have it equipped code, which I guess shrinks you down. This is how I found that scaling factor. That's it right there. See, it scales you down to C0, makes you tiny, and then puts you back to normal. So I guess this is, this if-else on the inside is whether or not you're going onto a bridge or coming off of a bridge. And then I also found out this function right here sets your speed. So I guess the speed of 4 is your normal speed, and the speed of 0 is that slow, tiny Mega Man speed. We could probably, edit that out and be able to walk on bridges a lot faster, but I'm not worrying about that. The important thing here is that this whole function returns at the end. So this code right here undoubtedly kicks off the tells you that the press program isn't installed or something. Like, that's what this does. But if this guy right here, this var1 equals 1 check, if that was just always true, then we would always have the nav cust program equipped. So the thought for making this little ROM hack is if this branch instruction, which corresponds to that if, notice that Ghidra, when you highlight a line, it tells you which line in the assembly actually corresponds to that, so that's really helpful. But it looks like this compare instruction and this branch instruction kind of make up the if. If this was just a no-op, we would basically fall through this if here, and we would always turn out to have the press program equipped, no matter what. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that compare function into, I'm going to override that branch not equal command and make it to where it never branches. So no matter if we have it equipped or not, we'll always fire this code. So let's do that. We got, this tells us the address. Now it's mapped to, start with 08, but in the actual program, this is actually just line 12D940. So let's open our game in a hex editor, which I have already set to this line that we care about, 12D98, let's see, that one's 40, that's 42, maybe it's not quite the line we care about just yet. Let's go up a little bit. Is that it? Yeah, there we go. So 12D940, there's the compare instruction, 0128, then 1AD1. We want to override this. I'm gonna just use the compare instruction again. So instead of branching, it'll just do a compare instruction that it doesn't use. So equivalently, this is a no-op. So let's save this as our new ROM hack. I'm going to save this as, I'm calling it the Mega Man Battle Network 3 blue version, and then no press. And I've went ahead and saved the save file and all that. I've copied my save file so that way I don't have to restart the game just because I'm starting a new, I've got a new ROM hack here. All right, beautiful. So we've hacked our game, and theoretically we should be able to walk over this bridge. So here's the unhacked game. You walk onto the bridge, LAN, I can't use that. You have to go through the 20-minute ordeal of installing the program. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to load our hacked version of the ROM with this Mega Man No Press GBA. I copied the save file before the video started to make this all seamless, so we can just continue to the same spot. And now, oh, look at that. We have a hacked version of game that will always let you walk on these bridges without having to go through that obnoxious press thing. So just to prove once and for all, we do not have press equipped on the command line here. So thing of beauty, wonderful. We've made ourselves a ROM hack using a hex editor, which, by the way, I didn't talk much about this hex editor. This is HXD. This is a very nice hex editor. I like it a lot. I've used this hex editor and a hex editor online, and I like this one better. So far, I don't seem to have any viruses, so I think it's safe to install this one. Who knows? With that, I say this rabbit hole just goes really deep. Here are my notes again. I am actually not completely happy with this ROM hack we did. That was sort of a Hello World ROM hack. But what I would really like is I would like if the game checked if you owned the press chip rather than if you had the press chip equipped. The reason being is because in this ROM hack, I can now sequence break the game. I could probably get the game into a weird state with that whole Bubble Man thing where I could, kill Bubble Man or get past that without ever receiving the press chip. Is that a big deal? I don't know. I really don't know. But if I were to say hijack an unused function in code, and then overwrite that function's code with some other code that checked the place in memory that kept track of the number of press programs you used, and then hijacked the check for if it's equipped with the check of my new program. If I overrode all of those things, then I would have a program that whenever the old one would check if you have press equipped, this new one would just check if you owned it. And so this is all the code it takes. And actually my take two, it's even less. So this program was a little bit more confusing to write for me, because this ARM thumb code is kind of a pain in the butt, to tell you the truth. Like, trying to load a value register to the problem is you got 32-bit addresses and you're only allowed to use 16 bits per instruction, and somehow you got to get the 32-bit address loaded in with 16-bit instructions. So ARM becomes a pain, or ARM thumb. ARM itself is actually 32 bits, but okay, enough talking in circles. We've hacked the crap out of Megaman Battle Network 3 a little bit more, and yeah, I think I'm going to call the video there. That is the long and short of it. Just download Ghidra, and it doesn't matter if you don't know what you're doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. I ended up reading a lot of documentation on Thumb. So yeah, good luck with all that. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.